Well, tens of thousands of people are protesting on the streets of the Iraqi capital, Baghdad, as they demand the expulsion of American troops from the country. Let's show you the pictures live now. This is, we understand, quite close to Baghdad University. They have turned out in their droves. In fact, the Shia cleric Muqtada al-Sadr had called for 1 million people to join in this march, and it's believed to be quite close, as I said, to the US embassy, so to the green zone. There's just water dividing the university from the green zone. They're in between the two there. These numbers really an indication of the feeling that has grown, in particular since the death of Qasem Soleimani earlier in the month, the senior Iranian general who was in Baghdad when he was targeted and killed by US forces, along with a senior Iraqi general at the same time. The parliament in Baghdad has already voted for all US troops, so around about 5,200 of them, to leave the country. You may be able to see some of the banners there, a lot of anti-US posters. There have been some effigies of Donald Trump and of soldiers that have been seen as well. And they are all demanding, you can see there, US presence in our country has brought nothing but destruction, says that banner there. That crowd is expected still to continue growing. We'll keep across the situation there in Baghdad for you. Okay, let's pick up on these extraordinary pictures from Baghdad. The call is for at least 1 million people to come out in protest, demanding the removal of US troops from the country, something like 5,000 troops there. Well, Martin Patience is at this rally, joining us on the phone in Baghdad. Quite a turnout, Martin.
An extraordinary turnout, tens of thousands, if not more, for this march, which has been called by one of the country's most influential clerics. His name is Muqtada al-Sadr, and he can deliver a crowd. He's a mercurial politician, but with this march, he's showing his strength on the streets, and he's signalling very clearly that he wants American troops out of this country. The dynamics in Iraq have, of course, changed ever since the American assassination of Iran's top commander here, Qasem Soleimani, just a few weeks ago. And while everything is peaceful enough at the moment, the danger always is in Iraq that potentially a march could trigger a fresh round of violence.
As you said, Martin, this was called by Muqtada al-Sadr. Where does this leave the government and its position with Washington, bearing in mind that Parliament has already had a vote to say, let's get these troops out?
Well, the Iraqi government is incredibly weak at the moment. Its problem is that it's caught between Iran, which supports many Iranian politicians. In fact, our critics would say controls many of the politicians in the Iraqi parliament, and America on the other hand. So it's trying to it finds itself in a very difficult position. There is strong calls for American troops to leave the country, but there are pressures against that, partly from the Sunni community in Iraq, partly from the Kurdish community. They see American forces as a break on the Shia militias and the Shia politicians, like Muqtada al-Sadr. And there are also others that will say, look, if American troops leave this country, not only will that mean the fight against the so-called Islamic State, that will be deeply damaged, but that Iran will have more influence in Iraq as well. Those voices aren't as loud, but those voices are there as well.
Clearly. Martin, thank you very much indeed. Martin Patience in Baghdad.